Okay, now we're proceeding on to Chapter 2, Play Piano for $1.99. This is Eric T. from MendTime Music, and we're going to go through all 12 scales of the piano keyboard. And you might say, all 12? Exactly, all 12. But it's not going to be as daunting as it sounds, because the tones are really only going to be going up slightly. And we'll cover the formula, which is a very simple formula on how to identify all 12 scales, because as we covered in the last chapter, that there are 12 notes that make up the piano keyboard. They just repeat, as we mentioned before. So each note has its own scale. Now, a scale is made up of 8 notes. As I played in the first chapter, just briefly, but I didn't really explain it, because we'll just focus on the names. But now we're going to focus on the scales. So if you were ever in music class, you might have heard the music instructor have you go through a vocal lesson with all the other students, usually in elementary school, of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. No, I wasn't going to sing it. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And that is done to help us identify the scale without even knowing it. That we learn the scale of C, which is all of the white notes. Very simple. And the scale of C is probably the easiest one to know, because that's all you have to focus on, is just the white notes that make up this scale. So we go from middle C in the instruction here to a C an octave above. Very, very simple. And feel free to follow along. C, D, E, F, G, B, C. One more time. C, D, E, F, G, B, C. Now on your screen, you're probably going to see that each note is coupled with a number. And that's correct, because C would be your one tone, D would be your tone number 2, E would be tone number 3, F would be tone number 4, G would be tone number 5, A would be tone number 6, B would be tone number 7, and the higher C would be tone number 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now let's use both hands, as you see in the video. Now it's going to take time for you to be able to practice with both hands. But over time, you'll be able to train your hands to have the muscle memory to be able to do it easily. Going slow because I want you to see how easy it is. Just focus on the right keys and walk them up. Now let's talk about steps for a minute. In the last chapter we talked about the chromatic steps that I took to show you the 12 notes, as you saw there. So, playing piano is, as I mentioned, is like identifying stairs. So, from going from C to C sharp, that is called a half step. Okay, so we took a half step to walk up the stairs. And then from C sharp to D is another half step. And 2 half steps make up a whole step. And you may have heard this kind of sound before, that kind of rhythm before. We'll cover that later. But basically, 2 half steps make up a whole step. So the formula for learning all 12 keys goes this way. Whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Let's do it again. From C to D is a half step. A whole step, excuse me. From C to D is a whole step. From D to E is another whole step. So that's 2 whole steps. And then we have 1 half step. From F to G is a whole step. From G to A is a whole step. From A to B is a whole step. So we have 2 whole steps, 1 half, 3 whole steps, and then from B to C is the final half step. So the formula is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step. So if you were trying to do that in shorthand to remember it, you will go WWH, WWWH. So 2 W's, and then the H, 3 W's, and then an H. So 2 W's, 1 H, 3 W's, 1 H. And the way to remember it is you have 2 black keys, which can represent your 2 H's, 2 W's, excuse me, your 2 W's, and then you have 3 black notes, which separate the white keys, and then, which would represent your 3 W's, and then there's nothing separating these 2, your B and your C, and that's 1 half note, or half step. So, very simply, 2 W's, for 2 whole steps, then a half, because there's nothing separating these 2. And then you have your 3 whole steps, and then your half step. Let's do it one more time with both hands. Whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Again, C. That's 1, whole step, half, half. Now that is the key of C. 2 whole steps, 1 half step, 3 whole steps, and then a half step. Now you might have heard me play that F there in the middle. So just playing 1 note and going to the next step. So at C, that's number 1. Then a whole step, half, and that's the pattern that's used for all 12. So we've covered the key of C. Now let's go up to the key of C sharp or D flat. Okay? Same formula. Whole, half, whole, 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 half. Now it's going to feel different, and this is the key to playing piano and playing in all 12 of the individual keys or sets of 8 notes, starting at whichever tone you're starting in, because they all have a starting point. So in C sharp or D flat, we have starting at 1, we have C sharp, D flat, and then we whole step to D sharp or E flat. Then we have that next W or the whole to F. Now it's going to feel different, okay? Then we have our half step, which is F sharp, G flat. Then we have another whole step, which is G sharp or A flat. Then we go up another whole step, A sharp or B flat. One more whole step, we go all the way to C, as you see here, and then we have, you guessed it, that half step for C sharp, D flat. And you see me using both hands. And you can hear that do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do all the way. Of the keyboard. One more time for the key of C sharp, D flat. Starting at 1, C sharp, D flat. Whole step, whole step, half step. Now just with the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now with the right hand. Very good. So that is the key of C sharp, D flat. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And another way to remember C sharp, D flat is just to know that there are only 2 white notes in the scale, which are the key of F, tone, and the tone or key or note of C. C, and then finding yourself at the end on C sharp, D flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And get used to hearing the sounds of the number of the tone, because that is what we're building upon. It is not just knowing how to do the scale, but how the notes sound. Because you hear how that 7 sounds? It sounds a little dissonant. There we go. Okay, so we've covered C sharp, D flat. Continue to do this and practice this over and over and over again until your hands get used to doing and touching the black keys. And here's a little tip in playing the black notes. Try to play as close to the middle as you can. That way you get a full press when you're pressing on the key. There are different kinds of pianos and keyboards. Some pianos or the electrical kind have what are called touch sensitive or velocity sensitive, where they're very light, and you might have one of those kinds of keyboards. This one is what's called hammer action, which takes a bit more force to get a louder sound, as opposed to the velocity touch ones, which you just press it lightly, depending upon setting, and it may sound loud just automatically. So basically, it depends on the manufacturer. But when you're playing the black notes, you want to make sure that you're close to the middle, because it's easier to transition from the white keys to the black. If you hit the lower portion of the key, it might work, but you'll find that you may slip off the note, or accidentally, have, and that it may sound good what I'm doing right now, maybe, but basically, you want to make sure that you're depressing that key close to the middle, so that you have a firm handle on it, because it's a shorter key, as you see. Okay, moving right along to the note of D, starting in the scale of D. I just played it in both hands, but we're just going to focus on the right hand just to get started. So we're going to start the number 1 tone, D. Moving up, whole step. Second tone is E. Whole step, F sharp, G flat. Next is a half step to G. Now we have 3 whole steps to go. First whole step is A. Second whole step is B. Third whole step is C sharp, D flat. And the last half step, that 8th note, is D. Let's do it again. D, E, F sharp, G flat. C sharp, D flat, D. Very good. I'm going to play it without saying it. You say it as I play it. Very good. One more time, a little faster. Again. Very nice. And you hear the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do as I'm playing. Let's call them out one more time. D, E, F sharp, G flat, E, C sharp, D flat, and D. So, in the same way we've identified the key of C as being all the white notes, and the key of C sharp, D flat as only having 2 white notes, the key of D only has 2 black notes, F sharp / G flat and C sharp / D flat. Okay? Continue to do this in repetition until your muscle memory in your hands can do it without thinking of it. Very good. One more time, both hands. Real slow. Very good. And whole, half. Whole, half. And you might hear the notes on my piano hold a little bit, even though I am letting go of the key. That's because I'm using a foot pedal, and I'll explain that in a later lesson. So without using the foot pedal, very nice. hands, both hands in the scale of D. Remember, 2 black notes represent the scale of D with the other white notes, of course. Skipping. We skip F. There's no F. And there's no C. Very good. Let's move on to the key of E flat, already being equipped with the formula. I'm going to play it twice with the whole half, calling out the notes nice and slow. And I'm going to play it faster the third time with the hopes that you will utilize the formula yourself. Let's teach you to fish, and you'll call out the notes. So I'm going to call them out twice, and then I'm going to play it without calling out, and you're going to call it out on that third one. Okay, so starting with the tone of E flat, D sharp, E flat. As you can tell, I like saying flats in most cases more so than saying sharps, just how I learned them, sorry. So D sharp, E flat is the first tone. Moving to F, G, A flat, G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat, C, D, D sharp, E flat. Again, D sharp, E flat, F, G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat, C, D, D sharp, E flat. Now you call out the notes this time. Very good. And you might be saying, Eric, why do you keep going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Because music, as we'll learn in later lessons, is written numerically. It allows us as musicians to go and play a piece of music just knowing the chord progressions. And remember that term, we're going to get back to that later. But when you look at modern day music, it's written by numbers in some cases because it allows us to move from a scale to another scale just by saying okay. And hopefully you've learned already that this is a pattern, just learning the scale of a particular key. It's a whole half. It's very simple. Just takes time to get used to playing it and getting your muscle memory in your hands strong enough to be able to play it. And everyone develops a key or two which is their favorite. Or at least the piano players I've seen and known. It's very difficult to be a master and play each scale the same way, because the position of the keys and the steps that you're taking, as you see my hands move across, you see how your hands are changing? See how my hands are changing? They're changing positions. And I've done this for years. And each one, and I'm not playing any notes right now, but each position is a different muscle memory. Okay? It's the same thing as if you're playing baseball or football or basketball. Your hands get used to doing something a particular way. And that's why it's important to have good structure, good posture when you're playing, keeping your back straight, having good posture, having good form. And also doing exercises that I'll teach you later on how to get strong in those fingers. Okay? Playing our piano. So we finished up with the scale of E flat, 6, 7, 8. One more time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For the scale of E flat, D sharp, E flat. Let's move on to the scale of E, and by now you are ready to implement the whole half formula for yourself for the key of E. But I'll play it along with you. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do it again. It feels a little different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now let's call out the letters. E, F sharp, G flat, G sharp, A flat, A, B, C sharp, D flat, D sharp, E flat, E. One more time. E, F sharp, G flat, G sharp, A flat, A, B, C sharp, D flat, D sharp, E flat, E. Now, just going back in the key of E flat, see how it sounds a little, the tone goes down a little bit from E flat to E. Didn't mean to do this on purpose, but this is a good lesson. We have 8 notes here, but it looks like we have 4 of each color. So we have 1 black note, 1 white, 2 black, 3 white, 4 white, 4 black. So the way to recognize E flat before we get back into the key of E is that E flat has 4 and 4. Okay? So we have D sharp, E flat as the first one, G sharp, A flat is the second, A sharp, B flat is the third, and D sharp, E flat, of course, is the 4th black tone. The easiest way to remember D sharp, E flat is very simply 4 and 4. Okay, let's get back into the key of E. Got lost there a second. E, F sharp, G flat, G sharp, A flat, A, B, C sharp, D flat, D sharp, E flat, E. Let's use both hands. One more time. E, F sharp, G flat, G sharp, A flat, A, B, C sharp, D flat, D sharp, E flat, E. And again, you could use the documentation to get familiar with the note names, because it's important to know the numbers of the notes as well as their names so that you can speak both languages. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Join with me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Gotta slow down a little bit. So I'm gonna call out the notes now. Of course, calling out the notes takes a little bit more mental work. E, F sharp, G flat, G sharp, A flat, A, B, C sharp, D flat, D sharp, E flat, E. And don't be embarrassed if you call it by the wrong name to start. There are many of us when we're doing we might say the wrong name, like your grandmother that might call you by your brother's name or just your dad's name, because they just know you as being associated to that person, and they might get your name after like the 3rd or 4th time. So don't be embarrassed if you do that by calling a note by its wrong takes time to get, familiar with the positions, and you're using so much of. I had to throw that in there. You're using so much of your mind to get used to this instrument that you just need to process. Okay, well, this is C sharp, D flat, D sharp, E flat, and then to E. Okay, so now let's move on. We've already went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our 12. So let's go to F, and we're going to speed it up a little bit because I want you to get strong in playing the scales. And we have the documentation, but I want you to get strong in playing the scales and getting and identifying with them. So we're just going to go over the remaining scales briefly. I'm going to call out the notes and allow you to replay this over and over again until you get it down pat for all 12. But let's go to our scale starting in F. The one note is F. So we have F, A sharp, B flat, C, D, E, F. F, G, A sharp, B flat, C, D, E, F. Okay? See that pinky hitting that F right there? And again, the muscle memory is different. Slowing down a little bit. Call it out one more time, both hands. F, G, A sharp, B flat, C, D, E, F. Again, F, G, A sharp, B flat, C, D, E. Foot pedal. Very good. One more time. 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7. Last time. Now, the key or scale of F is very similar to the scale of C, but it only has one sharp or flat. So that is a key of how to remember the scale of F. Is say, hey, it's very similar to C, which is all the white notes, except, of course, we start at F. And we only have one sharp slash flat, and that's A sharp, B flat right there. Starting at 1, whole half, whole, half. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is our scale of F. Now let's move up to F sharp. I'm going to start a little lower for the sake of the video. You should be able to call out these notes by now. Come on, play along with me. call out the notes. F sharp, G flat, A sharp. Sorry, excuse me. F sharp, G flat, G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat, B, C sharp, D flat, D sharp, E flat, F, and then F sharp, G flat. Very good. Very nice. Something that even threw me for a second there, and I'm going to leave it in the video, where I took my hands and I separated them a total of not just one octave, but two octaves. Because it's easy when you can play and you can see both hands, or easier. But it's a bit more difficult when you space them out. And you'll find that you have to use your mind to make sure that you're controlling both hands. Because they're really out of each other's sight, direct sight. And you'll find your eyes going from left to right. It's a very good exercise. Don't mean to speed you up, but it's just something just to stumble upon. Let's move them closer together. F sharp, A flat, B flat, B, C sharp, E flat, F, F sharp, G flat. So I know one, hold, hold, half. F sharp, G flat, G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat, B, C sharp, D flat, D sharp, E flat, F, and then back to F sharp, G flat. So again, two white notes in this scale. Now, there was another scale that we covered that I believe only had two white notes, and that was, let's give you a second, see if you can remember. It was the scale of C sharp, D flat, that's right. It only had two white notes, which were F and C. Now, if we look at F sharp, G flat, it only has two white notes, which are B and F. Very good. So you're getting the hang of how to identify your scales by using the whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half pattern, and how to say, okay, well, C sharp only has two white notes in that scale, C sharp, D flat, and then F sharp, G flat, that only has two white notes too, which are B and F. And it's just good to have that in your memory, so that when you're going to play, you just have it shorthand, like, oh yeah, this one has two white notes in it. So I'm not going to go and hit notes that don't belong in that scale, because it sounds slightly different. You hear that difference? Very good. All right. Now what I just did there, to just break up the word a little bit, is I just walked up scales from 1, 2, 3, just to show you how using numbers allows us to play something slightly different and get used to, using more of our fingers. And we'll cover this in later lessons of chord structure and chord progressions that I was talking about in identifying our numbers. So we're going to move on now to the scale of G, and looks like we're almost halfway home here in our playing of our scales. So starting at the note tone of G, we've just left the F sharp, G flat. But before I do, just want to make sure that you recognize that in F sharp, G flat, you're playing all 5 of your black keys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, excuse me. You're playing all of these, and then you're adding the 2 white keys. Okay? Alright. And that'll also be in the documentation that you have if you were able to pick up the documentation that goes along with this. Alright, next we're going to the key of G, as we just mentioned. We're going to advance this a bit, and I'm just going to play this again twice with my right hand, and you're going to call out the notes and see if you can get it. Again, starting at 1. So what you should have said was G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G flat, G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now the key of G has 1 sharp or flat, and that's F sharp, G flat. Very simple, up and down. C, F sharp, G flat, G. It gets a little repetitive. Once you get this foundation, you'll be able to go from one scale to the next scale effortlessly. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G flat, G. And remember, there's only 1 sharp or flat in the key of G, and that's F sharp / G flat. Okay, I think you're ready to teach me. We're going to move on to the scale of G sharp, A flat. Starting at A flat or G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat, C, C sharp, D flat, D sharp, E flat, F, G, G sharp, A flat. Again, G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat, C sharp, D flat, D sharp, E flat, F, G sharp, A flat. Now going forward, I'm just going to name the black notes by one name going forward, because you should know, or hopefully you've went over this a couple times and you've studied your documentation and recognize that the black notes do have two names, but it's good to recognize them by one name or the other. And in music theory, and that's why they call it theory, because you can name the note either way. Some people call them all sharps, some people call them all flats, some people mix and match the two. I try to mix and match the two, just following the trends of how people write music. So going forward, in the key of A flat, we'll just call all of our black notes either one name or the other, but not both at the same time, for the ease of digesting the fact they have two names. Okay, so A flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, A flat. Again, A flat, D flat, C, C sharp, E flat, F, G, A flat. So if you caught it just there, I called this C sharp instead of D flat. Either one is fine. You just get familiar with identifying the note by name. Okay? A flat, B flat, C, C sharp, E flat, F, G, A flat. So that's 1, 2, and if you've gotten the documentation, there'll be a whole half chart for each of the scale. You'll be easily able to identify the next step in scale progression. Let's move those hands a little bit. Just using the right hand, as you see in the video. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. Let's go a little slower. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And my right hand kind of left my left hand. Practice, practice, practice. Very good. Hopefully you're following along with me. If you stumble and make a mistake, just keep going. Ah, I caught you right there. Very, very good. Very good. Let's call out those notes one more time before we move over to the key of A. A flat, B flat, C, C sharp, gotcha, E flat, F, G, A flat. Now let's call them by sharps only, okay? Because I hear some of you say, yeah, I like flats better, or hey, I don't like saying flat. So let's go sharp. G sharp, A sharp, C, C sharp, D sharp, F, G sharp. And let's go back to flats. A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat. count off how many black notes and how many white notes we have in the scale of G sharp slash A flat. Two blacks, one white, 3, 4 blacks, 2 white, 3 white. So it looks like we have 5 black notes and 3 white notes. So we have A flat, B flat, A flat, B flat, D flat, E flat, and then up again to A flat, octave up for number 8, and then we have C, F, and G. And if you're wondering, it's very similar to, that's right, C sharp, D flat. It's very similar. It's just you just don't have that F sharp in there. Instead, you have the F to the G as opposed to the F to the F sharp, G flat. And it's good to understand the relationships between the two scales. Any scale, it's good to know the relationships, and we'll get into relationships later. But we're building upon a foundation. So we're moving now onto the scale of A, and A is going to be all yours. It's not. I'm not going to do anything with A except to just play it twice, calling out the notes, and I'm just going to play it a couple times without saying anything. And I want you to interact with me and call out first the name of the note. Then the second time I play it, you're going to call out the number. Okay, so the first time is going to be you're calling out the name of the note as I'm playing it, and the second time, after I've done my instruction, then you're going to call out the number. Okay, so I'm going to go first, starting at the first note of A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, A flat, A. One more time. A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, A flat, A. Now it's your turn to call out the name I play without me saying anything, and then the second time you will be responsible for calling out the number. Ready, set, go. Very good. Now call out the number. Very good. So what I should have heard is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, we hear the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do theme. The difference is it goes up from scale to scale, I mean. A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, A flat. 1, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, half step. So you see the repetition again in the pattern. The pattern doesn't change, just the position of my fingers change. See that? Just the position of my fingers change. And one more time. There's the first time going backwards. We'll cover that later. And just as a point of reference, we have 3 black notes in the scale of A, and the rest going to move on to, almost done, A sharp, B flat, which is going to be our next scale. Let's move on. Okay, now we're ready to move on to our next scale. We have 2 more to go. A sharp or B flat. So let's stay consistent with just naming it by the black notes by one name. So the standard name is B flat in most circles. But feel free to call it A sharp if you want to. It is definitely your decision. But I'll go with B flat. And I just went 2 octaves up there. So let's get ready. Now again, this one's all on you. Okay? So whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And you also have the numbering as well as the names. So the first one, I want you to do whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Second one, you're going to call out the name of the note. And then third, you're going to call out the note number 1. Do it the 3rd time. So first time, whole, whole, half. Ready, set, one hand. Now call it the name. Third time, call it the number. Very good. So, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, E flat. Now again, this scale of B flat only has 2 sharp slash flats, which is A sharp, B flat, and D sharp, E flat. Okay? The rest are the white notes. So 2 black and 6 white. Left or right hand this time. Flat, C, E, flat, F, B flat. Now I think by this time we're beating the mule down. We just beat those 2 senseless, the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, oh, 8. But again, see that difference in your hand there? And that's the key I want to drive home, even though you know the note pattern. Remember that you're teaching yourself for each scale. Scale of B flat. Think of that for 5 minutes. Just to close one more time, we're going to call it the notes. B flat, C, D, Alright, we're on the home stretch for learning our scales. The last one we are going to learn is the key of B. Oh, you see how that sounds slightly different than B flat? Of course, because we went up a half a step. Okay, let's start both hands. I'll call out the notes one time, then I'll call out the numbers, and then it's going to be your turn. Ready? B, C sharp, B flat, No, that's right. We have to go to E, just seeing if you're paying attention to the whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Good job, you caught me. B, C sharp, D, E flat, E, F sharp, A flat, B flat, B, whole, whole, half, whole, whole, should also see is that, again, all five of the black notes. So we have 5 black notes in the scale and 3 white notes. And the easy thing to remember about this is that 2 of the white notes are the same. They're B. And I'm playing this in both hands. Now what did I do just there? Just playing it to a little rhythm in my head. A little faster. Good. See if you can follow along with me if you haven't been already. You've got it. Call the notes one more time. C sharp, E flat, E sharp, E flat, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you have learned all 12 of your major scale. Now let's do one exercise. We're going to go from C to B without stopping. And you're probably going to have to rewind this a couple times to get it down. But we're going to go slow, just the right hand to start. And ready, set. I'm not going to call anything out. I'm just going to play. That is harder than it looks to pull that off. I'm gonna do it one more time, very, very slow. I think in there I may have missed one of the notes, I think for the scale of G, but we're gonna go back again and do it real slow, playing all 12 scales just in the right hand. We'll mix in the left hand on the last go around. Ready, set, go. That's the one I messed up on. So we're going to leave that in there because you can get to a place where it just seems like it all runs together. So I've identified a scale where I need to remember my whole half, whole half. So I'm going to go back again to C, and then when I get to that G, I need to remember that it's only one sharp or flat instead of that one. Okay? So I'm teaching myself as we're learning together. Let's go. Starting at C. just like that. That takes practice amongst practice amongst practice to do that. Doing it with both hands. We're going to slow it up a little bit and call it the whole, whole half. Whole, whole, whole half. All together. Ready? Starting at 1. Going to E now. Going to F. Good. Starting at G. Very good. Next one. Doing good. Next one. A. Very good. B flat. And closing out on B. 1. Great exercise to get you accustomed to playing all of your scales together. Just finished up learning all 12 of your scales. Let's take a little break and then come back with our minor scales for the next chapter. Thank you.